Flashes fans, Dan Griffin alongside head ball coach Todd Starkey talking a little Kent State women's basketball hoops. A big victory, a scrappy victory over a upstart Central Michigan squad. They threw the kitchen sink at you guys, and you guys still were able to fend that off and walk away with a hard-earned victory.
Yeah, it was a hard-fought game, as you said, and I think one of the things for us is we definitely weren't playing our best. Seemed kind of out of rhythm, but those games are the ones where you grow, and I think our team recognized that we weren't playing our best. They responded out of some timeouts, and down the stretch we did a really good job. Second straight game, Katie Shoemate's been playing really well, all conference level. Her and Corinne Hauser combined for 17 of our 19 fourth quarter points, and really brought us home to get a much needed win.
I think Katie scored the last 11. She had the dagger 3 that kind of put the game on ice for you guys, but we say throw the kitchen sink at them because Central Michigan all of a sudden brings out a 94-foot press against you guys, threw a bunch of different looks at you, and if nothing else, it looked like every MAC defense you're going to possibly see in 4 quarters of basketball.
Yeah, it was a lot. Yeah, they definitely pressured us, and they've got length and athleticism, and we allowed them to disrupt us a lot more than we should have. But credit to them, they fought, and I mean they were in control of the game for, especially in the third quarter there. But like the way that we responded down the stretch, we did a good job defensively. I thought Lindsay Thal's stat line doesn't look like she had as much of a productive game, but defensively against Rochelle Norris, 6'5", Rochelle Norris, I mean, she was huge. I thought did a really good job of making things tough on her most of the game and not getting in foul trouble. And then it was, once again, just a team effort all the way through and found a way. A
lot of deflections, like you said, disrupted a lot of things, didn't make it comfortable on the post for the bigs down there. I thought from a coaching standpoint, a couple of key timeouts you called. You called one pretty early in the first quarter, and then your team responded with a 7-0 run. You did it again in the third quarter, like you said, when things started to kind of roll in favor of Central Michigan. And you guys responded, I believe, with like a 13-4 run, 17-4 run. So talk a little bit about that, what was said during those timeouts, and all of a sudden kind of flipped the switch.
Yeah, I guess, I mean, if only we had 10 timeouts,
sure.
Our team would be one of the best in the country. No, I think they did respond out of timeouts. The one in the third quarter, was a bit heated. I was really looking them in the eye and kind of challenging them and saying, listen, if you want to win this game, we can't keep feeling our way through it. The time's now to make a move, and they did. They made the response. They had the response that was necessary. Really took kind of control of the game on both ends of the court and executed our stuff. And really, you're down 7 to win it by 6. That's a pretty big turnaround you got to make. So really pleased with the way they responded out of timeouts and told them I don't want them to do that to me again this season if possible.
You guys really clamped down on the post, and I thought your guards did a nice job kind of hedging and trying to almost front that entry pass, and that led to a lot of deflections. May not have been an outright steal, but certainly then all of a sudden kind of makes it a disjointed possession for Central Michigan and took them out of some rhythm.
Yeah, tried to we talked about post defense starts with our guard ball pressure and so that you get in the passer's vision. I thought they did that much better down the stretch. Like you said, got some deflections and disrupted their offensive flow.
Well, let's talk a little bit of foreshadowing a little bit. You get a hot BG team who really came in and throttled Ohio earlier in the week. They are one of the upper echelon teams. You just saw them a few weeks ago. What can we expect from the Falcons as they come in on a Valentine's Day Play for K initiative? A whole lot going on Saturday.
Yeah, there's a lot of pink and red in the building for sure. But, Bowling Green, obviously 21-2. They've won 10 straight games. We had quite the battle with them at their place. Did a really good job defensively against them there, but had trouble making shots. We're trying to put both ends of the court together against. If you're going to beat a team like that's tied for first in the league, you got to put both ends of the court together, and it's going to take as they say, a Herculean effort to get the win, but something that we feel like we're capable of.
Yeah, you mentioned a little bit of the slow start at BG. Once you guys got the offense flowed, you saw a few shots go in. You played even with them, and the rest of the way, if not outscored them. It was just a little bit of a too much of an uphill climb to start after that slow start out in PG.
Yeah, teams like Bowling Green and Ball State, who we just played, it's tough to play when you're in a hole against them because offensively they click pretty good. Trying to catch a team like that really scores at that type of clip is very difficult to do. So we got to make sure that we get that right and try and get on the positive side of the ledger early on and keep control of the game most of the way.
I know they have a balanced offense. They like to kind of push the pace. What do they do defensively that allows that offense to run so freely?
Well, they're leading the league, one of the top teams in the country at causing turnovers and converting turnovers. So they're gonna pressure us a lot. They're gonna try and blow up our dribble handoff actions. They're gonna try and get reach and steal and bump and grab and try and make it a bit of a cat fight. But that's their system and it works for them. So we have to be able to handle pressure and do our job down the stretch with that and make them defend us without fouling.
Seems easier. It sounds
easier said than done.
When you're reading out the game plan, it's the execution that
Right.
obviously makes it a lot more difficult because Coach Freilich has done a phenomenal job there in elevating that program. But you mentioned they won 10 straight, but they're still only tied for the league lead. That shows you how balanced this entire league is, that it takes a run like that just to stay even with everybody else.
Yeah, top of the league's so good. Obviously, we're still in the mix with it. We're 3 games out of first, but we've kind of put ourselves in that top group of 4 right now. We want to stay connected to that, and a great way to do that is trying to get a win at home. I mean, it's a great opportunity for our players. I think they're motivated. But we have 3 teams in the top 10 of the mid-major poll still, and we're still in the top 25 at 23. So our league is definitely a juggernaut for sure.
Well, briefly, you mentioned trying to stay in that top 4. One of the teams looking to get into there is who you face next week in a quick trip up to Buffalo. Instant classic here at the MAC, and a nice buzzer beater for you guys. Are close to it.
Yeah.
What have the Bulls been doing that's impressed you?
Yeah, their backcourt is prolific scorers. They've got 3 players that can all go for 20 in a game, and they put pressure on you and can score in multiple different ways. So, the trip up to Buffalo is always a challenge for us. Got to be road warriors next Wednesday and see if we can't come away with a road win. First things first, handling business against BG, and then up to Buffalo and try and take care of some work up there too.
All right, really quickly, it's obviously Super Bowl Sunday. Team doing anything for the big game?
Yeah. Listen, we're together so much. I'm gonna let them have their space and enjoy the Super Bowl, and I'll enjoy my space as well. And kind of rooting for the Eagles, I think, being a East Coast guy.
All right, Coach. Well, thanks for a few moments of your time. We'll be back right after this with more Flash Talk. Welcome back to Flash Talk inside the GFTV studios. We're brought to you by Bryant Heating and Cooling. I'm Dan Griffin. I'm joined by Kent State Director of Athletics, Randale Richmond. And, sir, an exciting time as February is our winter sports running towards the postseason, our spring sports ramping up.
Yeah, no, it's a great time in athletics. You have that fall kickoff and you get going and you're closing that out, but you're so anxious to keep going. And that's what our winter sports have provided us thus far. So it's pretty cool to see them off to a great start. Indoor track has been having a really good kickoff. Wrestling's had some really good individual performances, and gymnastics bringing back the Beauty and the Beast along with our wrestling squad was another special event. And I heard we're playing basketball, and we're playing that pretty well. So it is a high energetic time in the department, man. It don't stop.
Well, obviously our fans are seeing all the action on the court, but off the court we've got some exciting things going on within the department as well. I know one of your big initiatives through our Play As One campaign has been our return on inclusion. That actually wraps up here this month. Yeah. So for those that aren't familiar with what we've been doing, fill us in.
Yeah, so anything that we're doing, we talk about having a diverse workforce. And I've often said it's not charity. What we're trying to do is get a competitive advantage. So when we have people from every different background, race, color, creed, sexual orientation, no matter what it is, to come to a place where you can truly have a sense of belonging, it helps unlock exactly who you are. You're able to connect in such a more powerful way, and then people are able to flourish. And it's not just for them as individuals. They're able to flourish in a role, which ultimately helps our student athletes. That's what this is about. And it's no better place than athletics for this type of melting pot of people to come together towards one common goal and one common outcome and become family throughout the process. So we're going through this training with ROI. I want to give Frank Porter, as well as Suzette McQueen, a lot of credit for that, along with Katie Schilling of our student athlete development programming, because we're all learning about ourselves. And these individual sessions, after we go through a module, then we come together from different groups and backgrounds. So you're going to be with one group one week, another group another week. The stories that have come out of those interactions, from our coaches to our staff, I never knew this about this person. I never knew this background. We are a more connected athletic department because of that program. So I'm excited to have Nevin here this week to close out for us.
It's been a great experience, and obviously the sports is the kind of the great equalizer. It's that common bond, and obviously we're finding out that we've got more to do with each other than we ever kind of realized.
That's right, and that's the beautiful thing about it. I mean, sports, we care about the outcome. We care about the objective, right? We care about talent. And if you have these things, we then find out how amazing of a human being you are along the way. And then, like you were saying, we find out that we're so much more alike than this world tries to tell us that how much we're different. And it's that beautiful bond that happens because of it. And that's why I just love sports and everything about our objective and what we're doing.
Then obviously this month, some other initiatives we're going to be seeing throughout our home events obviously surrounds Black History Month. Yes. So I wanted to get your quick thoughts on that.
Yeah, Black history, and then you hear the quip, it's also American history, because it is. It is, and it's so beautiful to be here at Kent State University, where Black History Month was officially started and began, and the rest of the country, then the rest of the world took it over for this celebration, because it's an opportunity to sit back and look at the impact that Black Americans have had on, again, this country, but this entire world, and acknowledge that. We've had so many years of this idea of inferiority or not fitting in, but we're able to see that, hey, intelligence comes from all different walks and engagement, so long as you have opportunity and access. So that's what's been really cool. And I'm so happy to be here because I'm standing on the shoulders of giants before me.
Well, it's going to be fun to see that history come alive here this week at our home events. Randale, we've got to have you on here longer to talk about everything that's going on, but more Flash Talk coming up right after these messages. Now let's take a look at what's going on in Kent State athletics. On Sunday, we'll be celebrating Senior Day with our Kent State wrestling team as they take on Bloomsburg starting at noon. On Tuesday and Wednesday, our men's and women's basketball teams will be on the road. But don't forget, our official watch party is down at Water Street Tavern in downtown Kent. On Friday night, our men's basketball team is back here at home, taking on Eastern Michigan in another nationally televised event. It'll be a 6 p.m. tip inside the MACtion and will air on CBS Sports Network. The Flashes will also be celebrating Black History Night as well as Greek Night. On Saturday afternoon, our women's team is back in action for another rivalry game against the Akron Zips. It'll be a 2 p.m. tip inside the MACtion. Don't forget, Flashes fans, visit ksutix.com for all tickets to all home events. And for all things Kent State, visit kentstatesports.com.
Goes down low here to Jacobs. One more pass to Chris Payton, and the slam. Fire a three. It's a bad air ball. Kent State up the floor to Myron Thomas. Look out! A monster jam for Myron Thomas in transition. So far in conference play, the Flashes have not been defeated in back-to-back games, and Kent State will improve to 9-2. You can ring the bell. The Flashes take the win in a dunk contest.
Welcome back to Flash Talk, ladies and gentlemen. Dan Griffin alongside head ball coach Rob Senderoff. And coach, coming off a very nice win over a BG squad that was scrappy. You guys kind of jumped out early. They kind of crawled back in late, and it was a game of runs. You guys were able to put the clamps down again late and pull away.
Yep, needed that one. At home, have to protect home court for sure. And it's good to get the win. I thought we played really well in the second half, and certainly to start the game, so it was good to see.
Yeah, some home cooking. That's 19 straight. That is a MAC-era record, so congratulations there for the Kent State men's basketball program. And I believe you guys jumped out something like 18-5 early, and you really got the crowd hyped up and energized, and really kind of made, like you said, made a statement in a nice bounce-back way after the hard-fought loss on Friday night.
Yeah, defensively, we held them to 25 points in the first half, which that's sort of our formula. Got away from that last weekend, and I think that needs to be our formula moving forward. We have to continue to be, which we have been, one of the best defensive teams in the conference and in the country. And in order for us to be successful for the rest of the season, that's got to be where our mindset is.
And you guys, I thought, did a phenomenal job jumping into passing lanes and really used the defense to kind of fuel a transition and fast break offense. I believe Malik had Another 7 steal performances. He stuffed the stat sheet. And, again, another balanced effort across the board.
Yeah, I think, what you saw from Malik with 7 steals, obviously you're not going to get that every night, but he was in the passing lane, sincere, picked up, 94 feet, and I thought really tried to speed up their guards. That's what we need moving forward. Those 2 guys have been elite defenders over the course of the season. We have 7 games left in their senior season. Myron had some block shots. Obviously, Chris is consistently impacting shots at the rim, Claron as well. So, we need that mindset, throughout the rest of this season. Defense first. Our offense will come out of our defense. And then, we have to play tough physical basketball. So it was good to see us do that Tuesday. Now, back-to-back games coming up on the road. We got to make sure we bring that mentality for these next games.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the upcoming road trip. It's a quick trip up to Buffalo on national TV, and another Friday night game. You guys seem to be making that reservation on Friday night primetime, but this is a Bulls squad that dropped an NBA-like score against Eastern Michigan. I think it was like 102-97 in a game that really got up and down, and when they were in our gym, you really slowed them down. So this is a Bulls team that obviously, when they're going good, likes to put it up in bunches.
Yeah, they're one of the high-power offenses in our conference and in the country. At the MAC Center a few weeks ago, first 36 minutes, they had 48 points. We did a great job defensively during that stretch. They were able to score a bunch, 20 points in the last 6 minutes of the game. So I know they're going to be confident with how that game ended, with how they played on Tuesday, scoring over 100. They have an explosive offensive team and a team that we have tremendous respect for. So, we know Friday night, another national TV game, which is great, again, for our program and our university to get that exposure. We're going to have to play, really, really hard, really together, play incredibly physical without fouling, and do the things we were able to do for the most part at home.
Yeah, you frustrated the Bulls when they were here the last time, and then you look at their score sheet this past game against Eastern, and I believe they even dropped like 85 against Western. So Directional Michigan's not slowing down Buffalo as of late, but it wasn't any one guy that jumped out that had like a 40-point night or anything like that. It is a very balanced couple guys in the 20s, 6 in double figures, and they had a point guard, I believe, that dished out like 11 or 12 assists. So it seems to be that they're going good when they're moving the ball and trying to pass up a good shot for a great one.
Yeah, they're great in transition. That's where it really comes down to. They have a number of elite scorers. Curtis Jones, one of the best scorers in the league. Hartnett has been inserted into their starting lineup since our game. And he's played really, really well. I think he had over 20 against Eastern Michigan. Last time we played them, Isaiah Adams shot the ball incredibly well against us. So they're a really good, balanced offensive team with a number of guys that can really get it going against you. So, from our side, we have to really be focused on our transition defense and making sure, that we're not giving them clean looks, because they have a number of guys. They have a balanced attack, like you mentioned. And for us, we have to have a really great defensive mindset for 40 minutes.
Well, what seemed to work against BG, and obviously it worked against Buffalo, at least slowing them down like you mentioned, you really they tried to get inside, and then I think you guys feasted when all of a sudden that kind of got cut off, and then they panicked and tried to reverse the ball back out, and almost kind of like it's the Super Bowl Sunday, so almost like a free safety of Malik and Sincere were running free, and then all of a sudden you guys are often running back the other way after they pick off some passes. And I'm not saying that's the blueprint for every single team, but it certainly seemed to be a great way to stop a driving and attacking BG offense.
Yeah, against Bowling Green, another team who really pushes in transition. We did a really good job of speeding them up, creating turnovers, and like you said, the football analogy, Malik is one of those guys who, when he's in the passing lanes, he's able to, what would you say, like bite on a route,
sure,
right?
Yeah.
And cut off a route. And, he gets a lot of turnovers, which, when we get those turnovers into layups, we call them pick sixes. So we were able to get a couple of those. heading into Super Bowl Sunday. And who do we got? I'm curious. Who do you have for the Super Bowl?
I mean, I think I like the balance of Philadelphia. I think they'll be enough, and now watch the Chiefs win by 50.
Yeah,
So
I wanted you on record in case they do.
Yeah.
So it should be fun.
it should be a fun one. And then you guys have got a quick turnaround to head out to Kalamazoo on
Yep.
Tuesday night. Really quickly, this is our second, obviously, look at the Broncos, but never easy to go on the road, especially in those midweek games in the MAC. So what's going to be the challenge that a trip out to Kalamazoo is going to provide for you guys?
Yeah, another game started. That was our first conference game. So it's been a while since we've played them. They're a team that is very physical, and against us, they really hurt us in transition the first time we played them. That was how they got into the game or back in the game. And that was a game that went from 17 down to 2, and Gio hit a huge 3 late in the game to sort of ice it for us. So, again, our formula is not going to change moving forward. We have to have a defensive mindset for 40 minutes and let our offense come out of our defense. And if we can do that, we'll be successful. And the nights that we don't, it's going to be a struggle. So, moving forward, these next 2 games, that's got to be where our head is at.
All right, Coach, really quick, are you guys doing anything in particular for Super Bowl Sunday to get the team back together?
We will decide that after the game Friday, see if these guys want to see me or if I want to see them. So, but it should be a good game.
Sounds good, Coach.